Good morning, Greg here, burning both ends, burning on the front end of the week here. It is Monday morning, 6:28 a.m. Pacific, July 16th, 2018. This is the final week for iCore on the ground, week 7 of 8. Super excited. So we have, I think it was 4 customer discovery interviews on the books for this week already. And we as a team, it's not just me, it's a team, we have, let's see, probably about 8 or so in the pipeline that are probably going to hit, something like that. I have a lot of folks that are, from LinkedIn, from Semicon West, that we are itching to get involved in. And so today's a big push to remind, because it is dangerous to talk to people at some of these conferences, because especially, I spoke to them on Tuesday, which is the first day of the conference. And so the whole conference has to happen. Then they have to get them back home and recover. And then, so Monday morning, this is the hot time for me to poke and prod and remind people. And just to remind you guys, iCore is this entrepreneurial program. It is a tech transfer training where we learn about the lean startup model developed by Steve Blank, customer discovery interviews. That's what I'm talking about, scheduling for the week. We need to get through 75 for the program, and the way I see it is we really need to hit 75 this week. That is, there will be a celebration of some sort. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm going to be super excited about that. And so today, the way I see it and the way it's been working, because I have been the main, interview setter-upper, whatever you want to call that. And the way it's been working is that it's Monday and the first half of Tuesday where the poking and prodding happens, the reminders, asking people. This is when I come in with that second form of communication, if I have it. Otherwise, I just pound the first one. And we will see how this week shapes up. Very exciting week, a lot going on. And then next week we're in Denver and we're kind of wrapping up. So we also have to shoot. This morning we're going to shoot our iCore video. We have to make a 2 to 3 minute video about what we got from iCore, some key insights. This is what we're going to show at graduation, which is next week in Denver. So it's a very exciting week. But the key thing I want to focus on customer discovery interviews. I want to crush the presentation on Wednesday. I'm working hard on that. So I want to put time in on that. And then finish strong, document everything. I got to put a lot of things in innovation within. So that's also a lot of work for this week, a lot of tasky work, but important work as well. And from that, pull out a lot of high-level detail for the presentation on Wednesday. So I am very excited. It's going to be a great week. And then as far as other work projects goes, this HBD project, let's see, one of my key people is on vacation for 2.5 weeks. And so I have a whole set of actions from a meeting on Thursday or Friday. I forget what. Thursday. And so it's a matter of executing those actions. And I hope that he completed what he was supposed to. I was trying to get in touch with him late Friday, and I didn't hear back. And there's no summary email or anything like that from him. So I am going to have to probably bug him on his vacation. Hopefully he can get back to me in some reasonable way. Hopefully it's simple. Maybe just a quick phone call just to understand where he's at, because he is a key person in this project. And there are some things that only he knows about as far as design goes and things we got to wrap up. And so I do need his input. And then it's a matter of delegating and following up on that project. This is a project that I'm managing, and I've learned this lesson on this project is I really need to stay up at the high level of the project. Managing the project is dangerous for me to get down in the trenches and execute some of the, it's really important work, because I don't want to call it lower level work, but it's sort of some of the work that I should be delegating. I have no other way to put it, because some of this design work is so critical. Making some of these drawings is so important. So it's not low level as in not important. It's just things that I shouldn't be doing, because when I go down to do those, not down in the trenches is what I mean. When I do that, I lose sight of the goal. I lose sight of the things that I should be working on. I should not be making drawings. I should be managing. I should be delegating. I should be following up, making sure that that things are moving forward. We have a lot of parts in the shop. So I want to just make sure that those are moving along smoothly. I don't want any surprises. There are always surprises, so it's not that I don't want any. It's I want to understand what the surprises are. The surprises will come whether I want them or not. So saying I don't want any surprises is maybe not the best way to put it. I want to be able to manage surprises, and I want to know about them before they surprise me. I want to surprise them, I guess is a good way to say it. And what else we got going on this week? Doing my success journal. I love the success journal. It's just keeping me on track. There are some tasks that I really haven't been able to focus on because of iCore, but are totally fine. And I will find this as a project manager, I need to be careful about urgency and creating urgency. And I had a LinkedIn comment about this, and someone commented back and made this comment. Let me say the word comment one more time. Comment. And it was that there's danger in creating urgency. And I had a recent experience where I'm helping out this student-run accelerator. This is a, like incubator kind of thing, and the student running it created some urgency with some folks, and me included, that seemed to be unnecessary. And I was very straightforward with him. I tried to do what he wanted. I wasn't able to do it. I told him, hey, I can't do this. Let me know when you really need it by, or not really, but let me know how I can still accommodate this request. And it's been crickets since then. It's been somewhat silent. So it's interesting. Did he really need it by then? That was a little dangerous of him. And then the other kind of dangerous thing that I observed was then he just lost all the contact. Like there was no follow-up. There was something that he wanted by a certain date. I told him that I couldn't deliver. And then since then there's been no follow-up on how we're going to regroup and move forward through this thing. And that's interesting because it's dangerous to do that, because we, in all of our actions, whether we like it or not, we are training the people around us that we work with. What's real, what's not, am I full of it, am I serious? For example, I'm working with this one gentleman. He sends me these super long text messages, and for some reason he must have an old phone, because I get that, one text message comes in 6 pieces. It's 1 of 6, 2 of 6, that kind of a thing. I'm not sure what's going on with his phone, or if it's my phone, but it's just weird. And they are very confusing text messages, and I don't understand what he's trying to tell me. And for that reason, he's training me not to read his text messages. He's training me that whenever I get text from him, it's going to come in these multiple text messages. It's going to be confusing. It's not going to be clear. I'm not going to know what to do. And therefore, I am being trained to ignore his text messages. We do this. If I put out calendar invites, and I don't put agendas, and I don't put locations, and I'm not intentional about things, I am training people to ignore my calendar invitations. Same thing with email. Same thing with a lot of things. If I run meetings that are really bogus and unfocused and don't have actions, then people are going to show up to my meetings knowing that this is not going to be a focused meeting, so I don't really have to pay attention. There are not going to be any action, so I'm going to walk out of this without really having to do anything. And I'm probably going to be able to skip these meetings every so often. So there's this double-edged sword about how we show up, about how I show up. And so something that I'm real big on with myself is I show up with intention around meetings, around emails. I'm a big fan of really clear emails. On the first line of the email is going to be, of course, some greeting, but then it's going to be, this is what, the headline of the email, and then there's one call to action. There's one thing I need. If I need several calls of action, then I'll write either several emails, or I'll say, hey, I really need you to do these 3 things. Boom, boom, boom. I make it very clear, so that way, as people scan, or I'll go the other way with it. Like I sent a long email to the HPD teams, to my team of designers. It was a super long email, an outline of all these actions that we had to complete in the next couple of weeks. But it was like a documentation email. Something that I would print out and I would hang up somewhere. And as I'm going through things, I can check things off. And I made it really clear as to who had which action. And it was really cool, because then I met with one of my designers, and he had the email printed out, and he had all the ones with his name highlighted, and then checks near some of them. So, and this is also an experiment. Does this work? does this long outline email work? I don't do it all the time. This is not something that's done every day. This is maybe done once a month or something like that. But I felt that there was a lot of chaos in what we were doing, and that sending out something like that provides some clarity. And even if takes a little bit of time to go through, and even if the email needs to be read a few times, this was more of a documentation email that I think that those are important sometimes. Otherwise, they're short, one call to action, one topic. I stay on topic. I try not to switch topics within a subject, right, and within a thread, because it's confusing. And then if I am going to poke at someone that's, if I'm talking to a group of people and then I'm going to ask one person to do something, or I've CC'd someone new and I'm going to ask them to contribute, I make a point to like bold or highlight that person, so that way I'm not making some little request of someone new to the to the discussion and they don't know it. Because that's another thing, is that if I completely avoid doing that thing where I forward an email with a thread and I just write FYI ... and then make the person read through the whole thread and figure out why I sent it to them. It's like, if I sent you an email, of course it's for your information. Why would I have sent it to you? So let me help you and understand what I thought you should get out of the email, right? And I might copy and paste. Hey, there was this discussion in thread 3, boom, here's the beginning of it. Or if it's too long, maybe I won't copy the whole thing, but I'll say, hey, this is the important 3 sentences I wanted you to read, because it speaks to blah, 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 so on and so forth. So there's a little rant there about communication, which I think is so important, and how, whether we like it or not, we are training people with every communication as to what they should pay attention to and what they shouldn't, right? Back to Gary Vee here. It's all about attention. If I don't have people's attention, then it's going to be very hard to get things done. It's going to be very hard to project manage. It's going to be very easy for them to slide into other things, because other people are trying to get their attention as well. And so how good am I at getting attention and keeping it just for a short period of time, so I can communicate an idea or an action, and then something can get done. So little just experiential thing that I've been going through for the last, I'd say 10 years, ever since I started my first aerospace business. Just attention, people's attention, and I've never really understood it as well as I do now. I guess that makes sense, right? I've never really thought of it this way, but it's so important just to how we train people, how we communicate, and then whether we like it or not, they'll behave in a certain way based on how I've trained them, which makes sense when you think about it. So, but anyway, Success Journal's crushing it, really love it. iCore, super psyched about week 7. Let's just go out and finish these, let's rock these interviews. We're really learning some great information. Been reading through these market reports, which are fantastic. Really giving, some good information on where the market's going. I have a few leads to run down as well that we got from interviews last week. And then it's a matter of crushing the presentation. We have, let's see how many slides we got. I'm not going to count the title slide, even though it's there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slides. Sounds pretty trivial, but I just want to make sure that I crush it. So 7 slides, and I'm not really worried about any of them as far as like, oh my gosh, slide 5 is really scary. They're all, I'm very confident about all of them. I just want to make sure I crush it. So a lot of work will be put there, and that's about it for today. So this channel is all about my journey as an aspiring entrepreneur, things I'm doing. We're going to get into a roller coaster ride this week, I would imagine. And then next week I'm in Denver, and then I'm in South Carolina. And then I'm back on the ground, and it's going to be a whole different world when I come back. This is a very timely trip to visit my parents, as a matter of fact. When I come back, was that August 6th? I think that's what it is. August 6th, yep. When I come back on August 6th, it's going to be a new world. iCore will be over. I will be starting these 2 new projects at work that I'm managing. HBD we will be on the front end of that integration. It's only going to last about 2 weeks, so a lot of prep for just about 2 weeks. Should have a lot of hardware showing up in that week of the 6th. And then it's a matter of getting into these 2 projects, really kicking up my nonprofit widget. I will get into more of that. Working with Peter, getting the training going, for my side hustle. And then I got another side project I want to work on. Then I'm going to rock. It's row 9 on the Success Journal. It's with Libby. So that's an interesting one. I'm really curious to see how that goes. The nonprofit widget very straightforward on what I have to do there. I just have to get into execution. I got to get trained by Peter and then just execute. There's not a lot of, the creativity will be on the execution side, not on the business building side. Whereas with Libby, it's more of a, we're going to build an idea, and I'm excited about that. And it's all going to be about relationships and timing with that one. Let's see what her timing is like, what my timing is like, how much time I can invest in it. As I get into the nonprofit widget, what does that really take from me as far as a weekly time frame, and then that will determine how much space I have for the side project with Libby. So psyched about that. And that's where we're at. So I will wrap there. Yes, it's all about my journey as an entrepreneur, as an aspiring entrepreneur, I should say. And these are the things I'm doing, the things I'm putting in place, the things I'm trying, the things I'm tasting, as Gary Vee would say. And that's where I will wrap. So check out the description down. Oh yeah, subscribe, comment, ask me questions, tell me how I'm doing, give me feedback. I'd love to help. If I can help you out, let me know. I'd love to be of service. Well, I would do whatever I could to support your journey, support what you're doing, whether it's business related or personal related or completely different, whatever. This is all about relationships and helping folks out. And check out the description. There's some motivational links down there. There's some great music down there. You can find ENTS. This is this voice-based social media platform down there. You can find a great talk about voice by Gary Vee. What else can you find down there? The beat in the background is Afrobeat that I wrote, inspired by Fela Kuti. So check that out. I write these beats. G Money is my alter ego. I write these beats. They're on SoundCloud. You can check them out. Very unique. I found I've been looking for something comparable for several years now, and I haven't really found anything comparable. Very unique. So I really dig them. So y'all go out, light up the day, crush it, inspire folks, do great things, and I will see you this evening.